Hello, this is the Trade Site U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview and Domestic Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Monday, July 6th, ending Friday, July 10th, 2020. Welcome officially to the second half of the year as we've gotten the 4th of July weekend behind us, the holiday on Friday behind us. We did start the quarter last Wednesday, but nobody seems to have been around much on Thursday, so volume was light. We'll look at that in a minute. In the meanwhile, here's the ES front-month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market and futures form. We're back to being 11 candles up again towards a 13 sell signal. Friday was not number 12, but we could easily get there with two little up days. That would give us yet another sell signal on the ES. We'll see what happens. Let's go through the major daily charts. Crude oil down 35 cents to 40.30. Gold down $3.60, bouncing off of that risk line, the pink line. S&P cash gains 14.15. And there's 11 candles up on the S&P cash also. Nasdaq 100 up 62.64. We are 10 candles up on the Nasdaq 100. SOX up 26.63. Also 11 candles up there. Got the biotechs up 32.54. We got the Russell 2000 up 4.54. This thing's barely halfway back from the lows. VIX down 94 cents to 27.68. The trend closes at 0.72. Puts the 10-day moving average at 1.05, which is not a reading at all for us. Nasdaq volume 4 billion shares. Again, like we said, nobody was around on Thursday ahead of the holiday. That is the lightest volume day since the end of May, right around Memorial Day. So we've had a month and a week or so of better volume than what we saw on Thursday. The answer client ratio of the Nasdaq plus 476. So more stocks up than down. On the New York plus 712. More stocks up and down. Google gains 27.93, makes it back to new highs for recent area, not new highs of all time. Apple literally unchanged on the day, literally unchanged, hanging near the highs. Netflix down $8.75. Amazon up 11.60. Tesla up 89.03. There's a short squeeze going on in Tesla. Facebook down $4.13, still operating under that 13 sell signal. Goldman Sachs down 17 cents, which doesn't really matter. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, up 17 cents. The Dow was up 92 points. All right, if we look at the ES, and again, Thursday being a holiday, so I'm sorry, Friday being a holiday, so we'll ignore the little bit of trading that occurs on that holiday session. It's not real trading. We'll push that off the list here. So here's 10-minute candles. This goes all the way back to the prior Thursday then. So you can see all of Friday, a little bit of the prior Thursday, all of Friday. So then Monday was a flat opening, and we started to head up most of the day. After the first hour was dead flat. Tuesday opened flat and then popped into until we got into lunch, then mostly flat until the last 20 minutes or so. Wednesday morning a small gap up and a fairly flat day. Remember that Tuesday was the end of the quarter in the month and the 6-month mark, so they printed the statements. And then Thursday we gap up. We get 13 sell signal. That's the high. Come back down and close almost even for the day. As you can see, the futures were not much, a little bit lower on the Friday session. They just opened the market for some trading. It doesn't really mean anything. And right now, the futures are showing, actually, they're ignoring that. They ignore that day, which I love this. They ignore that day. So the futures are showing down a point at 31.28, which is, as you can see, that day was 31.15 on Friday. So it's basically only counting from the close on Thursday. So it's basically a flat opening that we're currently looking at least. That doesn't mean we'll see that in the morning, of course. Anything can happen overnight. In terms of economic data this week, Monday, financial services PMI at 945, ISM non-manufacturing PMI at 10. Tuesday, IBD tip economic optimism number and JOLTS job openings at 10. I got a Fed member speaking later in the day. Crude oil inventories on Wednesday at 10:30, 10-year bond auction at 1, consumer credit at 3. Thursday, initial and continuing jobless claim numbers an hour before the bell. Final wholesale inventories at 10, natty gas at 10:30, 30-year bond auction at 1, and on Friday, just the PPI. So really none of our big economic data this week. And I will tell you that after this week, we're starting to get into earnings season. And this is going to be really interesting because we haven't had a lot of warnings or talking up numbers. But we've had some stocks missed by a lot, a couple of minor ones, FedEx beat by a lot. There's been some really just huge. We don't really know what's going to come out of these earnings based on everything that happened in the second quarter with COVID. So it's going to be really interesting to see what comes out of this and what the discussion is for the future and down the road. Obviously, there's a lot of money floating around out there with everything the Fed has printed and all the money the government has printed to get out in the hands of people. But at the same time, the jobless numbers are bad and they're not getting better. And so we'll just see how this goes. But it's going to be a real interesting second half of July, I think. And at least it'll probably get more exciting than it's been. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.